All right. Here we are. We are live here on a Tuesday night. It's Tuesday night, Perry. It's 9 o'clock here on twitch.tv/Perry Von Vicious. Uh yeah, just got this stream up and running at the very last moment. Running behind my skis as per usual. Was down in the old 3D print workshop. I was thinking I was gonna do some crafting today on here, but I both have too much to do down there and not enough that would actually work well on stream, kind of all at once. So, a few different things working against me there. All right, let's go ahead, go ahead and launch into our game here. We're playing some Disneyland Adventures today. Uh, one of my favorite ways to completely just drift for a while. I think I can be transparent and say that, I need a little distraction these days. So, getting to pretend I'm in my favorite place on the planet for a little bit while on stream. Not so bad. Not so bad. These long loading screens. Yep. But yeah, it was a good weekend this past weekend. Had a match up in Maine for Let's Wrestle, the sister promotion to Limitless Wrestling. And I've got a few more things coming up this month. A couple different places I'll be popping up. You'll see some of that scrolling by at the bottom. You'll certainly see me in Westfield, Mass, in about 2 weeks' time for Blitzkrieg Pro. One of my home promotions, one of my favorite places to hang out. Truly a party atmosphere with the Blitzkrieg Pro crew. All right, here we are. We've made it into the game. Drops us in right at the front gate where we got Mickey and the flowers there. I love that. Hey, Herobotics here. All right. Hey, Bobby Gilbert in the chat. Let's go. Real quick, I'm gonna just get my audio done just right here. I want to make sure that I've got a little bit of the sound coming through. Oh no, Herobotics says he has the flu and strep throat. Oh goodness, that's a terrible combination. Well, I'm glad I talked to you from a distance over the weekend when I saw you when you had to swing by and pick up a couple monster truck toys, because that's, come on, that's my area of expertise. um, all right, and to those who were in the chat, Herobotic, Bobby Gilbert, whoever that third viewer is who's yet to say anything. Please let me know if the audio levels are a little off at all, because it's a little wonky for me to switch between the two, but not impossible. I will say, and it's going to be little on the screen because I know Bobby Gilbert will ask. Our toy of the stream is this classic 1990s Bigfoot Hot Wheels from '91. One of my favorite series, because the tires come off and then he's got the little travel tires underneath, and that's pretty cool. And you can double the tires up so that they become like dualies. I always thought that was pretty neat, but wanted to keep that by because I knew someone would ask, and if I had to guess, it would be Bobby Gilbert. All right, we're gonna do a little exploring of Disneyland here. I am gonna glance out over at the old California Adventure entrance. Always cracks me up. I always like seeing it in the game. You actually can still see those big California letters that everyone used to take their pictures with at that park. You can still see those, just not at Disney. Those now live in Sacramento by the capital in California. All right, so I always bring us in over on this side. I think I'm going to stick with my usual route this time. We got the, is it the EP Ripley train up? Yeah, it is, the EP Ripley. You never know when it's going to be the Lily Bell, named for Walt's wife, Lily in Disney. All right. I always check out these posters before I head in. They're some of my favorite things. Yeah, I definitely, I say it every time that I play this game. I need a t-shirt design done in one of these styles. I'd love a t-shirt design done in the style of Mary Blair, like it's a small world. That would be pretty cool. I wonder who I get for that. Probably have to go on Fiverr and find like someone specific for that. All right. God, I love that they nailed like how carefully done the gardens are here, where there's just a mix of vegetation. Like the trees are even the right kind of trees. Yeah, love all these little details. Even like the work up on the trim of this building there. Wow. Yeah, it's crazy. I've played this game a bunch of times on stream, a bunch of times off, and it never really gets old to me. Like just it feels right, you know. I'm glad the Herobotic. I'm glad the toys were a huge hit. I feel like monster truck toys are one of those things that like regardless of generation or era, it's just always fun for kids. Like there's such a like a kind of a perfect toy, you know. Bobby Gilbert's walking the dog. He's got to take Pluto out for a walk. Oh, what do we got over here? I don't think I've ever wandered back here to see this. Oh, the Bank of Main Street. A penny saved is a penny earned. Look at that. That's a detail I hadn't noticed. Is this an ATM? It is. Oh, they got one of the old ATMs here. Wow, I don't even know if that's still in the park. Wow, okay. All right. Sorry, I'm getting distracted by like the weirdest stuff. All right, let's as we come on to Main Street USA here in front of the old churro cart. Hey, Graves made it. I'm disassociating my way through Disneyland today. I've been fighting with my my 3D printers in my workshop all day and needed the escape. Uh, yeah, great moments with Mr. Lincoln. I love that what they're in the process of putting in there is going to be sort of an evolution of this same thing, where they're taking they're going to have the Mr. Lincoln set, and the stage every other performance it'll rotate and it'll be a different show. Instead of Great Moments with Mr. Lincoln, they're now going to have some kind of show about Walt Disney, and there's going to be a Walt Disney animatronic that talks to you. And no, it's hard to justify AI for a lot of things, but they're using AI on his voice to recreate um, his voice, because it's so hard to get a voice actor that really sounds like Walt Disney. At least that's the excuse they would use, I'm sure, and I'm kind of okay with it. Like, I feel like in limited application like that, it's a fine thing to use. It's like clearly not being done as a cost-saving measure. I think it's being used as they want to see what they can do with the tech measure. That I'm a little more okay with. It's a touchy subject for good reason. We got the whole center here. Is there? It's kind of fun. We can't actually look up high enough to see the flag there, so we could be in any country. This could be Tokyo Disney. You never know. All right. Can I can't actually ride the trolley car. Yeah, of course not. One of the interesting things about the Main Street vehicles, there's the trolley car here. I think is the omnibus out? I want to say it's down the far end. The omnibus is parked way down there. Those are in the parks, but if you're not there in the mornings, you don't usually see them. They take them down because, it's at nighttime. They got fireworks and stuff going on. It's dark. They can't have vehicles driving up and down Main Street. But in the mornings, where it's kind of like this, not super packed, they're there. And that's pretty cool. I've always thought that was neat. Got the Houdini Main Street Magic Shop, where a young Steve Martin got his first opportunities to perform in front of audiences, displaying tricks and showing people how some of the different things they sell there work. The Disney Gifts Emporiums. I usually hit that on my way out of the park. That's usually one of the last things I do. Trying to stop in there and grab the last bit of souvenirs at the end of the day. You gotta get some coins and then dress up as a fish. What? You're robotic. I'm worried you might have a fever. I'm gonna need you to explain that. Get some coins and dress up as a fit. Oh, you're talking about the costumes that you can get. Okay, I see. I see. Yeah, see, I've never done any of the actual playing stuff in here. I always just wander around. They got the cigar shop Indian out here that I don't believe they still have on Main Street, but the next time I'm there, I'm gonna check. Bobby Gilbert says I had a terrible fall today. Really? That's unfortunate. I don't like hearing that. Let's see. Oh yeah, Two Brothers Tune Makers and 20th Century Music next to each other. The two brothers they're referring to, of course, would be the Sherman Brothers, who wrote most of the famous Disney music. You know, It's a Small World was them. The entire score to Mary Poppins was them. Yeah, just there's so Great Big Beautiful Tomorrow that plays in the Carousel of Progress. You know, pretty much all the classic Disney music you can think of, the Sherman Brothers wrote, and that would be the Two Brothers Tune Makers that they're referring to there. That music company and the New Sounds for a New Century shop, those used to just sell Disney albums. Like, they just sold music there. Now I believe they've renamed it other stuff. Oh, I see. It was a slip and fall on the ice. It's that time of year, man. We've had the weirdest weather here where everything was frozen down before, and now everything's kind of melting. We had snow on the drive home the other night. Like, it's just been crazy. All right. I'm sort of lollygagging my way through Main Street here, kind of looking around, taking it all in. This is often how my days start in these parks. I do like that they have the window settings. Ooh, Disneyland Casting Agency. It takes people to make a dream a reality. Walter Elias Disney. See, this is a run through where I may just take some time and really like look at everything. I like the merch that we can see in here. Donald Duck shirt. There's some Mickey bowls and some cookies and things. We got some Goofy plates over there. What appears to be some. They have some Disney loose leaf tea. I think that's what those canisters are. I see those in the parks. I'm assuming that this is sort of with the canned goods and spices. This is sort of the section where the stores kind of have a lot of their housewares in them. Okay, now that I like, that framed picture of Disneyland with the Mickey in it. That is the same art that is on the cover of this game. That's pretty funny. Good little hidden gem there. Let's see, what do we got? Wow, you can actually see into that shop. Can I walk into this shop? Because it looks like a 3D space they've designed. Huh. Alright, well, let's find out. Why not? I mean, I came all this way. Can I go in? Hey, let me in. Oh, wow. They really modeled it right up and just so you could look in the windows. Huh. What do we got up above here? Hotel Marceline, named for Marceline, Missouri, where Walt spent a fairly formative portion of his childhood. Hey, Joey Nails in the house. Joey Nails, I'm giving another Disneyland tour, prepping you for when you decide to pay for our trip that you always mention that you want me to take you on a trip. Got the Main Street lockers, ice cream cones, painless dentist. Now, I know when you're there in the parks, you can hear people screaming and stuff in the dentist office. What's this one? Best selection since 1988. One of these windows is where I initially saw and then purchased the mug that I have my coffee in most of the time. Is there a Disney World game like this? There is not. There is, I believe you've tuned in when I've done the Future Port, which is a fan-created walkthrough of Epcot as it was on opening day, and there's some other eras that they kind of sneak in. But no, there isn't a Disney World game like this. The closest they have, they do have a it's like called Magic Kingdom Racers or something like that, which I've played on stream before. It's sort of like Mario Kart that takes place kind of in Disney World, but not a recreation the way this one is. Coffee and baked goods. What's this? Clothing with character, a Main Street tradition since 1905. What's it say? Chester. I can't read those. Well, I'm sure it's great. All right. Oh, the Silhouette Studio. That's one of those things I never did. I don't believe they still have it. The refreshment corner, which back in the day when I was very first going to the parks, that was my go-to. You get a cup of coffee there, and they used to have free refills all day. And when I had like no money, and I would only get into the parks for free as part of my PO from wrestling down in SoCal, I would always go there, get a coffee, and that would be my beverage the rest of the day. Let's see. Joey says, is there any good parks at Disney World? Yeah, I mean, I think, Magic Kingdom is essentially just a kind of a variant of this park. It's the same general idea as Disneyland with Tomorrowland, Fantasyland, all that, but with some key differences. I like that park a lot. Their Tomorrowland is probably a lot better. It's been given a lot more love and attention over the years, whereas the one in California has had a rough go of it. Epcot is amazing. Honestly, like, definitely my favorite park on the East Coast. Now the Plaza Pavilion, of course, is now the Holly Jolly Bakery. And the spot to go for a breakfast in the park in my mind. I go there, I grab a coffee, and like they have the Matterhorn macaroons. They've always got a few other good things there. All right. Usually I take us on the route through Tomorrowland first. I think this time. What is Bendy in the Ink Machine? Oh, I see. Joey Nail says, no, are there any games of the good parks? Yeah, I told you about the one of Epcot. Come on, get with it. All right, let's see here. Usually I do cut us across over to Tomorrowland. I think what I'm going to do this time, we're going to go right in through Adventureland. I'm going to try, I've done a few different streams of this game, and I think this time I'm going to try to, like, really focus on talking about, like, my favorite spots in the park. And Adventureland is home to several of them. Now, something that's interesting here, you see that Adventureland sign is just past the entrance to the Tiki Room. This is the entrance for the pre-show of the Tiki Room, and then this over here, this is the Dole Pineapple booth where they have the Dole Whips that they sell there, where you get the Dole, the Dole Pineapple ice cream with pineapple juice, so it's like a float. That Adventureland sign is no longer there. In fact, now the Adventureland sign would be right above my head, right here on that sort of plane. And they moved it back so they could widen this walkway. And it's pretty seamless. They did a really good job with it. Let's see. Herobotics says, oh, it's a horror game where it's like a Steamboat Willie style animated creature. Whoa, that's weird. Maybe I would like it. I did really enjoy Epic Mickey, which is another one that kind of takes place in the parks. If Epic Mickey 1 was available on Steam, I'd probably play it here, because I never quite beat it when I had it. It was out on the Wii at the time. Epic Mickey 2 is on Steam for some reason, but not Epic Mickey 1. So I'm a completionist. I won't play them out of order. That just feels wrong to me. But yeah, when we talk about Walt Disney's Enchanted Tiki Room, the history there is really interesting, and not just in terms of the the attraction itself, but even like how this sort of culture, this sort of interpretation of Polynesian culture even came to America. I could go on a great deal about it. The sort of abbreviated version is that after World War II, where a lot of guys in the armed forces had gone off and served in area, you know, some of them served in areas that were heavily influenced by Polynesian culture. When they came back, and a lot of them landed in the greater California area, they brought a lot of this culture with them, and some of them opened bars and themed it to what they had seen, and some folks went into land development, and they were sort of designing apartments in this style that were called dingbat apartments. It was a very, you can Google them and you'll immediately know what it is. It's a very specific style. It also lended itself with car culture becoming a thing. A lot of tiki places like this had you had the neon sign revolution and what's sort of known as googie architecture. A lot of that came out of that movement where tiki was a big part of that. And that's like this whole area sort of embodies that. Even right down to if I run back out here, turn it around, even down to the font that they used on Enchanted Tiki Room. You still see that pop up on Exotica Records, and even like some ska bands like Less Than Jake will use a font like that sometimes. It's really interesting. But the history of the attraction itself, it was not an opening day attraction. Walt had initially wanted this to be a restaurant, a Polynesian restaurant, and the original drawings for it showed actual birds in cages, which Walt had to tell his designers, you know, that's not going to work. When they asked why, Walt famously said, well, the birds are going to shit in everyone's food, which was pretty pretty good thing to note, I think. I love that they moved the birds out because there's nothing to do over here much with any of this, but they brought the birds out so we could see them. We got some of the little tiki statues up there, but in and amongst the tiki gods that put on a pre-show here, Tangaroa Ru and what's this one? This is Hinakolua and Pele. Like, I'm not going to try to pronounce all the names because I'll get a lot of them wrong. But all these come to life before the show in sort of a little pre-show while you're sitting out on these stone benches and enjoying your Dole Whip from the booth here. I did always love, there was a pre-show, that little thatched roof with the little frame with nothing inside it there. There used to be a big screen TV there that would play this sort of like Dole commercial that was about like pineapples and pineapple harvesting and the history of Dole and pineapples in Hawaii. And their big tagline was that it was Dole, the flavor of Hawaii. And there was this, it was a very old video. They swapped it out in like maybe 2012, 2013. And there was this Hawaiian man in like full, like basically like tribal getup. And he's on the beach and he's got a chunk of pineapple, and on the line flavor of Hawaii would take a big bite and just look into the camera with a big smile. And there was something so goofy and corny and fake about it. My wife and I would cackle madly when we saw that, and that video is really hard to find now. I know that there's like a very low grade version of it on YouTube that doesn't look particularly great, but it's there. Maybe I'll find it. I'll share it out on my socials later so that people can see it. But yeah, I love that they have the birds out here. Jose, Michael, Fritz, and Pierre. We got Jose, who is from South America. Michael, who was let's see, Michael was where was he from? He was Irish. That's right. He was Irish. Fritz was from Germany, and Pierre was from France. Bobby Gilbert says, no swearing, otherwise Danhausen will take you off the air. Wait, did I swear? What did I say? Yeah, I love the tree. So one of the things that you can't see here because they have everything done up, those flower bulbs with the little tiki gods under them with the flowers, when that would come to life, those would lower down as part of their like animation in the pre-show. They don't do it anymore, and I think it's because people would stand too close. Like, they always would say, stand back, and then you'd stand back and they would lower down. People weren't moving anymore, and, you know, they'd lower down and people, you know, kind of get bumped into by it, so I think they just stopped doing it. Oh, I said an S swear. An S swear. No cursing. You see these torches here. Now, one thing that's real interesting is that they don't have a ton of trees here. I can see the sky. The trees have grown in there since whenever this was made. Like, you can't see the sky from in here anymore. There's a beautiful, full trees there. And those torches, you can see they try to keep the trees trimmed real good and away from them. But there's some singeing that definitely happens that I've seen. Oh, hey, look, hidden Mickey on the old thatched wall here. All right. So that's the tiki room. We're gonna continue on here. Underneath the Adventureland sign. Oh, they have it blocked off here. Now, there used to be a way through here over to Frontierland, and I don't think there is anymore. This over here leads you to the best bathrooms in this section of the park, the Adventureland bathrooms. Nice bench you can sit on while you wait for folks. I don't believe that there is still a running waterfall here. I think that has also been removed and changed into something else. What's over here? There's like an invisible treasure chest. What is this? Well, let's see, can I go in the... Oh, I can go in the shop. All right, we're checking out the merch, guys. Now, are these plushies or are these like those funny slippers that you wear? There's got to be plushies. All right. We got oh, I know. Is this okay, that's just a rack, but I think there's like a display there or something, right? Oh, okay, just some shelves. We got some hoodies with no design on them. That's kind of strange. All right, what do we got over here? More clothes with no designs. I mean, this area does tend to carry like kind of outdoorsy clothes, so that's not terribly surprising. Yeah, some plain t-shirts. They didn't put a ton of work into that little shop, but that's okay. Oh, wind chimes. We actually have a set from there that's right. If you listen carefully, you just might. No idea if that was audible, but yeah, we have some wind chimes exactly like those right here. Let's see. Is this all just more of the same? Yeah, it looks like more of the same. All right. We're going to spin back around. We zipped right past. So this Aladdin meet and greet, this literally was an Aladdin meet and greet for a long time. None of that's there anymore. Now there's a restaurant that sits in the back corner here called the Tropical Hideaway. All right, Herobotic, feel better, my friend. There's a restaurant back there called the Tropical Hideaway that does mostly like dessert style foods that are all kind of loosely Polynesian influenced. They have a bunch of different Dole Whip variations. They do like some mochi ice creams. You know, it's kind of a hodgepodge, a little bit of a mix. But one of the things that's cool is that when you're there, and this little courtyard here is very reminiscent of where you sit for that, you can look out and you can see the Jungle Cruise boats coming by, and I love that. It's so cool. Like, especially going and sitting there in the evening. They have an animatronic bird that's named Rosita, which is a direct reference to part of the Tiki Room show. And she sits there and tells jokes while you're sitting there. She'll just randomly start talking. Yeah, here we go. There's the Jungle Cruise boats coming around. Bobby Gilbert says there's a new Kinnikuman on anime. Really? Where at? Is it on streaming somewhere? Because I would check that out. I always love at nighttime these lamps that all hang in these trees light up, and they're so cool looking. That's one of the only real complaints I have about this game is I do wish that you got to see like nighttime Disneyland, because nighttime Disneyland is like, it's really some of the coolest. It's like really some of the best. This little Tropical Imports, that is the first place that so when Steve Martin worked in Disneyland, he was he sold the guidebooks when he was very young, 10 years old or so, when the park opened. And then his next job was working here at Tropical Imports, where he was pinning feathers onto women's hats, of all the weird jobs to have. We got a little tiki guy here with a thing of bananas. And I wonder, how well can we see? It looks like it's just beverages that they have in this ice. But when you're there in that ice, they have packs of pickles that are sort of like a Disneyland specialty. What are those weird things hanging up in there? You know, I don't want to know. We buy and sell the rare and exotic. You get Baloo hanging out here by the Jungle Cruise. Oh, look at that building. What's all that? Yeah, there's going to be a fair bit of that. Usually I do a whole tour guide thing when I'm in this, but today I'm kind of just trying to take in a lot of stuff I wouldn't like. Those little details, little skulls and spears up on the outpost there. That's so cool. Now in here, depending on when you're there, they occasionally break out. They have an old school Indiana Jones pinball machine that will be available. It's not there year round. It comes and it goes. And I have had the good fortune to play it a few times. See, Bobby Gilbert says, oh, it's on Netflix. Well, maybe I'll download a torrent of it somewhere. I mean, I'll find a legal way to view it, because I did cancel my Netflix. That's interesting that they show these hats out here, because when I was pretty young, you know, I got sunburns pretty bad. And I was probably, I don't know, 13 the first time I ever went to this park, and I was getting sunburnt to heck, and I bought an Indiana Jones hat at one of these places and just wore it the rest of the trip. I still have a hat sort of in that style that I will wear on really sunny days to keep from getting sunburnt. I always refer to it as my going out hat, which I think is hilarious. I like that they've made the sunglasses on this display. A lot of them look a great deal like the 3D glasses that you use in like Muppet Vision 3D and stuff. All right. Jungle Cruise, of course, has some of the best art in the parks, styled after, I mean, really done by the great Mark Davis. Quite possibly my favorite of the Imagineers. I love his illustration style. Wait, right, we legally download music, see? Legally. See, Jungle Navigation Corporation. Riverboats. Departing from Adventureland Dock for the Zambezi and the Irrawaddy and Schweitzer Falls in the Congo. That's right. Beautiful Schweitzer Falls, named for the famous explorer Albert Falls. God, I love Jungle Cruise jokes. What's this sign say? Free excursions today. And there's the wait sign that would tell you how long it's going to take. Love that. All right. So over here is where the Indiana Jones ride is, and you can even see a lot of their details in the queue. And it really is. It's one of the best waiting experiences for any Disney ride. It's so intricate and so like well thought out. But they didn't have the Lucas rights, so that little sign right there that says Indiana Jones is the only sign that's what's here, because usually that big post in the middle of the screen, that's usually got a great big sign that says Indiana Jones and the Temple of the Forbidden Eye. Oh, is that a hidden Mickey? Yeah, that's a hidden Mickey. Those stones right there, hell yeah. Getting better at finding those. Now, I know I've mentioned it on the stream before, but that tree right in front of me there, when you're in the parks, there's a tiny little, one of those little elf homes built onto it. You know, like people put in their gardens that look like a tiny little person might live there. And that's based on an old golden book from Disney called The Little Man of Disneyland. All right, so as we, oh, the River Bell Terrace. That's a lovely little restaurant. Man. I wish there was a zoom in feature so I could read all the little signs. All right, we got the Swiss Family Treehouse up there. Love that. It's gone through several different iterations where it was the Swiss Family Treehouse, then it was the Tarzan Treehouse, and now it's just the Disneyland. I want to say it's like the Disneyland Adventure Treehouse. And you can hear that music playing. That is the Swiss Kapolka, written for the Swiss Family Robinson. Now, little details like this, that little lamp that's hanging by some rope there. For a long time, I had sort of said, like, I thought someone should run like a Tumblr that would be like Lamps of Disney. And my wife has done it a little bit with like Instagram stories, where when we're at the park, she'll just snap pictures of all the different lamps, because their lighting choices are always so like carefully thought out and selected and intricate and interesting. Like all the little details they take care of. You know, one thing that I always hear them talk about is Walt saying how even if you're not conscious of it, you can feel a change in the place you're in through the soles of your feet when you're walking. You can feel the difference, and that's why we're here. There's this sort of rough terrain ground that would be very Adventureland. You come over here, and as we cross into New Orleans Square, you get this sort of like a cobblestone, and you get these other pathways, so you can feel a difference through your feet while you're walking through the parks, which I always think is very cool. All right, I know we zipped by a bunch of stuff, but that's okay. We're gonna come down here, past the Swiss Family Treehouse, come out, and we're gonna. Oh, hey, the Disneyland band, the old jazz band. Look at these guys. These guys look like they were illustrated by Mark Davis. They got that goofy cartoon character face. Wild that they have that guy carrying a real tuba instead of wearing a sousaphone. But, you know, who am I to tell them how to run their marching band? Bobby Gilbert's working on Bobbyland. I definitely think at some point I need to have a t-shirt that's going to be like Perryland. It'll be like the old Disneyland maps, the park maps, but it'll be everything that would be at my park. You know, the Perry-go-round, some kind of monster truck ride, 3D print land, you know, toy stores. All right, and as we turn around, the ride, the quintessential Disney ride. When I think of Disney, when I think of Disney theme parks, I think of Pirates of the Caribbean, and I think of the original in California in Disneyland. It is the superior of those rides. Everything about it is iconic, from the way you walk in here through the little overhangs to the way the queue winds through here. There's a little fountain and that music. Oh man, that queue music is just the best. I definitely there is a like 2-hour loop of this music on YouTube that someone made, and I put that on in my ears when I'm doing 3D work, and when I used to have a day job and I would be doing work for them, that's what I would be listening to. Now this is something that people don't think about a lot. When you have trees, they have to grow into dirt and into the ground, and you have to be able to water them and care for them. But at Disney, you'd be tripping over tree roots. You know, the ground would have to be maintained a certain way, and that makes it really hard to have trees in certain areas. So they've actually elevated the ground in most of these places, and you have these little vents that the trees go down through, and they go down into either very large pots for a tree this size, or into the actual ground where they can be maintained just under the sort of facade of the ground that you see here. Now, a common misconception is that Disneyland has underground tunnels under it that everyone uses to get around, you know, staff gets around in, and that's where maintenance stuff is done. That's not true of Disneyland. They didn't have the forethought to do that. But in Disney World in Florida, it's true that everywhere you are in the park, you are technically on the second floor, because they do have an underground, they call it the utilidors, and it is an entire underground tunnel system that can take you anywhere in the park. It's incredible. The first ever like public footage of it wasn't out until the Imagineering story was released a few years ago. That is, you can stream all of that on Disney Plus. It's one of my, it's like a comfort food thing for me. All right, we're coming up the queue to Pirates here. Now, I've said it before, and it drives me nuts every time I play this game. There's supposed to be right in that corner a drinking fountain. It's very important. It's very important. I can't stress enough how that drinking fountain really matters in this park. Occasionally when you're here up on these second stories, you'll see Jack Sparrow or Red from the inside the ride. She's the red-headed female pirate who's a prominent character in the Pirates ride. One of them is often kind of waving, doing a bit of a character meet at the top of these stairs. For keen observers and folks who are particularly familiar with me, you'll know that I have a chicken named Red, named after Red in this ride, and another chicken named Mini Red, because she reminded us of the first chicken. Alright, we got some set dressing in that window. I know I do this every time. I don't actually know that I can look in these windows and see the ride. Yeah, you can't. It kind of just reflects back at you. But yeah, literally, when you go through these doors, about 4 feet past these doors is the edge of the water of Pirates, and it's where the boats are coming back at the end of the ride. So when you walk in, there's people floating right by you. So you get that waft of the water. Like, that's everything about this ride is iconic. The smell of the water is the thing people talk about all the time. There are candle companies that make candles that smell like the water on the Pirates ride. And I can safely say that being about right here, where that smell is first wafting out when you're in line waiting to get in, is one of like my happy places on this planet. Like I can feel like my heart rate slow. I can feel myself relax and just it's hard to even really put into words. All right. So we're coming out now into New Orleans Square proper. We still have a great view of the rivers of America here. We got the Mark Twain riverboat over there. Over on this side, we have the sailing ship Columbia, the SS Columbia. And, good heavens. And right in the middle, that island in the middle, that is Tom Sawyer Island. Which is awesome, super fun to explore, greatly overlooked by so many people, which is really a shame because it's very cool. And it's also where Fantasmic happens in this park. There's a stage built on there, and everyone gathers around this river and watches the Fantasmic show at night, and it's amazing. It's one of the best live shows of any variety I've ever seen. But yeah, Joey Nails naming different attractions for my my theme park. The Perry-Go-Round, the Monster Truckin', and Print It Yourself. These are good ideas. I think there'd probably have to be like a cat cafe, right? Like that. I think that makes sense. What's this little statue? Oh, I got like a little like Cupid statue thing or something. All right, we got the fortune teller pirate thing. Whoa, why is he following me? Whoa. I don't like that his head follows me, you guys. That freaks me out. What the heck? Okay, all right. I'm just gonna walk away because I didn't really expect all that. We got Cafe Orleans, which has great outdoor seating for when you're eating. And I've always liked that. Oh, yeah, there they are. There's a live jazz band. Man, those guys are killing it over there. All right, we're gonna come back around here. We got the Blue Bayou restaurant, some of the best food in Disneyland. You know, there's a lot of amazing food in Disneyland. This is definitely like the sit-down spot. Right through there is the little waiting area. You know, for a long time, people have said it's really hard to get in. That's not been my experience, but I travel light. It's always just me and my wife, and with 2 people, it's pretty easy to just make stuff happen. And so like when we've been there and everyone said, oh, it's impossible to get a reservation, you know, you got to get one 6 months in advance, which is often true. We usually just walk up and kind of say like, hey, do you have any walk-ups available? And when they find out there's only two of us, they're always like, oh yeah, we can get you. And they just take us. It's happened a bunch of times. It's awesome. Oh, Bobby. I saw that. I see what you wrote. All right. Yeah, so that's the Blue Bayou. We come back here, continuing on down. We got, there's always caricature artists out here, which is pretty awesome. Let's see, where is it? Did I go past Club 33 already? I must have, right? Yeah, because we're already out back to one of my other favorite bathrooms. Right there. There's bathrooms in New Orleans Square that people always forget is there at all. And that means it's always pretty empty. Now right there, I believe this is the courtyard for Club 33 that you can see back there with the statues and those stairs. I believe there's a different view of it over here somewhere. Yeah, here we go. This will be the slightly better view. Yeah, there's that spiral staircase. Alright, now let's see, where is there it is. There's Club 33. Yep, an impossible place to get into. You have to, it's incredibly expensive. There's a long waiting list to become a member. There's all kinds of criteria you have to meet. It's crazy. I'll never be a member, but I do have a couple different contacts who are probably going to bring me in on their membership sometime. I did get to go into the lobby one of the last times. It kind of happened very suddenly. A good friend of ours who is a member just was like, oh yeah, I'm going to pop into the lobby real quick. And we just walked in with her. I was not emotionally prepared for that, truth be told. Alright, as we come back here, we will come upon one of my, mentioned in some of my favorite foods. One of my favorite food spots, very simply, is the Mint Julep Bar. There it is. The Mint Julep Bar. They do a, because forever there was no alcohol in Disneyland, they do a non-alcoholic mint julep, a delicious citrusy, minty, just a little drink there. Super refreshing on hot days in the summer. And amazing. They also sell Mickey-shaped beignets, which are wild and so good. Look at these gardens. They really, this is what they really look like when you're there. There's so much variety. Oh, so cool. All right, we got the New Orleans Square Train Center, where the Disneyland train will come through every so often. Not a lot of stops in the park, truth be told, but I do love that they've really dressed up everything there. You know, all this set dressing doesn't have to be here if they didn't want. But that's not how it is at Disney. They put the work in. I gotta get back to Disneyland. Alright, I'm gonna come running on back out here to our sort of main drag that's still following the rivers of America. Now right down here should be, yeah, here it is, where it says Pirate's Lair. This is where you go to hop on. There will be these little boats. Let's see if did they bother drawing them in here at all? I don't see them. Look at that fish. What's he doing? Oh, he's talking to me. Huh. But yeah, they have these little, very little boats that just go from here to that dock right across the way. And that's how you get to Tom Sawyer Island. I'm sure I would come up with some great ride and attraction designs. I'm woefully underqualified, but I think I'd be great at it. That's the kind of confidence that a white guy in America is supposed to have, right? Oh, I'm not really qualified, but I'm sure I'd do good. Love these, the little fountains and gardens that are all spread through here are the kind of thing that people really don't appreciate in the park the way they should. So cool. Even just that that New Orleans Square train station, just like they go out of their way to have so much detail and make everything look so nice. All right, let's go hear a little bit of the Right here we got the one of the big attractions when you're in New Orleans Square, the Haunted Mansion. So let's wander up and take a listen to a little bit of some grim grinning ghosts. I love this. They got the carriage. It is an old hearse carriage. There would be a casket in there, but you'll see here the harness for the horse is standing, but there's no horse because it's driven by a ghost horse. So, pretty good. Got their own ghost horse. Welcome, foolish mortals, to the Haunted Mansion. We got the pet cemetery here in full effect. Check it out. Got some cats. They got some birds in there. Got there's a bunny, frog, a dog. What's that? A pig? A pig back there. A squirrel. Got someone's dog over here. Let's see what's on this side. Nothing. Just more gardens. Okay. Oh, and here we go. Yeah, the singing busts from inside the ride. Always a favorite. It is kind of weird that they just sit here bobbing. They don't do anything. That's creepy. I like it. So all this area that you see kind of closed there, that's all been redone recently. Like they expanded the whole queue here, and I've actually not been back since they finished that. I was last there right before they started. And then when hinges creak in doorless chambers and strange and frightening sounds echo through the halls, whenever ghosts are present, practicing their terror with ghoulish delight. Hell yeah. That's my jam. Over here now, there's actually it's funny, they sort of have like a little mausoleum building there. They've expanded on that, and they built a gift shop for when you're exiting the Haunted Mansion. Which I believe was just had to be closed the other day because in the rain it was getting flooded into. Some kind of engineering flaw in the new design, you know? What can you do? What is this little fisherman guy inside this place? What is this? Oh, is this one of the cafes that I'm not thinking of? Yeah, Harbor Galley. Hot from the galley, clam chowder, broccoli and cheddar cheese soup, vegetarian chili, grilled salmon salad. Jeez. I've been eating at the wrong places. I gotta pop in here. And then, of course, you know, we have no longer up and running, but we have Splash Mountain here. Let's see, are we gonna watch one go over? Oh, there they go. Awesome. And there you can see them going up there. That's great. I see. These are all the little details that I never notice until I do one of these streams, and I really like take my time with it. Critter Country, now entering another land which I don't believe exists anymore. I believe it's now called Bayou Country, as this ride has been replaced with Tiana's Bayou Adventure. Disney's really had this thing in the last few years of putting the word adventure in the title of everything new they make. Very strange. Alright, let's get a look over here. Yeah, there'd be more pickles in here, but this looks like it's just juices. Those famous Disneyland pickles. Ooh, we got a little view over the riverboat here. So peaceful. We're gonna continue on. Wow, I didn't realize how much of the river you can actually see from over here. I wonder if there's, yeah, even more. Look at that. Oh, no way, the canoe rides. I don't know if I ever noticed those were here before. So these canoes are actually a thing you can do in Disneyland, where you hop on, everyone hops on, you're literally given a paddle, and it's up to you to power it along. Um, it's fun and it's great. I've only done it once, got sunburnt like crazy. Huh. And huh. As is rite of passage, got splashed like crazy by some kid who didn't understand how his paddle worked. So I got the full experience. All right, the Hungry Bear restaurant. Oh, hey, complete with the bear that tells you where the restrooms are. Now the restrooms down there are really hit or miss. Evening time, awesome, because there's nobody over here. The rest of the time, this is a real popular place for people to eat with their little bitty kids, and those restrooms are a nightmare. So, don't really recommend. There we go, there's the Fast Pass distribution for Splash Mountain, right next to Brer Fox. Wow, I remember when we used to have Fast Pass distribution areas. We don't have it anymore. You would go up to these machines, scan your thing, and it would spit out a Fast Pass. But now the Fast Pass is the thing of the past. No more. Got the old Winnie the Pooh ride. Wow, I guess it's actually a playable thing. I don't ever play any of the rides because they're actually like games and like a challenge. That's not what I got this for. Oh, the Winnie the Pooh music. Oh, sweet. There's the ride vehicles. I wonder if I can get a better view of those somewhere up here. Waterway here. Oh, there's the ride vehicles. Hey, come back. So one of the things that's neat about this, and I don't know if the vehicles will actually do it when they go by, they actually have them set so they don't just go flat and straight. They kind of rock like rhythmically as you're going through. It's a neat little thing that somehow just kind of feels right in a Winnie the Pooh ride. All the honey on it. Great stuff. Yeah, once I've done my loop of the park, Bobby, maybe I'll pick one of the rides to go try to play a little bit. Yeah, I got nice little, see now these details back here are the kind of things I never look at. A little honey pot in there, right outside the gift shop. Look at that. Winnie the Pooh flag. Now these benches are key. You see it's shaped like a bear. These benches are key. They're very important because when you go on Splash Mountain, which is right over here, right past Eeyore, when you go on Splash Mountain, when you come off, it spits you out, I think right here, right next to that's where you would get your photos. But when I go on it, I take my socks off first, stick them in a Ziploc bag, and put them in my pocket. That way my socks don't get drenched on the ride. It's the only part of your attire that won't dry out. And then I come out to those benches, sit down, and put my socks back on. And I'm fresh as a daisy. Aw, Piglet. And there's our entrance to Splash Mountain. Now, we were very lucky. We went a couple times after they had announced Splash Mountain was closing, so we got to experience it a bunch of times where we really got to take our time and kind of try to just soak it in and kind of commit it to memory. The queue is fantastic, and I don't think, yeah, you don't really get the scope of it from what you can see in there, but just like the style it's built with on the inside, you can see out that top window when you're going through it. Like they put so much, yeah, you can see a little of it here with the timber framing and the stone. Like that particular queue area, the way the wood and everything is in there, just the actual construction of it is something that the very first time I went to this park, I would have been 12 or 13, it stayed with me afterwards. Like I would think about it all the time. It was honestly like the builds that the Imagineering folks did probably informed a great deal of my ability to later on go on and do things like 3D printing. Really like thinking about how they constructed this stuff and how they built it and where they got their ideas was a lot of what inspired me to do a lot of my own making. You know, I knew that there They had a model shop that was very similar to the ones used by George Lucas and the folks that made Star Wars. And I always found that really inspiring and cool. And I think a lot of that kind of leached over into like me being like a crafting type person, you know, now making my own toys, but like in school, anytime there was a chance for extra credit and I could make a thing, I would always do it. I was actually just talking to my dad the other day about the first ever model making I did that was like kit bashing, where you make a new thing from other parts of stuff. You know, I had made models of monster trucks that were just faithful recreations from the kit. But the first time I ever made something that became something new was for a class where I made a habitat that could be used on Mars, you know, a conceptual Mars habitat. And oh, cool, they got the little. Okay, so I'm gonna point out real quick. You'll see just next to my character's head there's a tiny little like doll that's got a crank in its hand that would be turning a little popcorn thing. They have those at all these popcorn stands, but they're different in every section of the park. Like this guy's got a little straw boater hat on, but they'll be different when you're in like Fantasyland or when you're in Tomorrowland. They've just got different. Like in Tomorrowland, it'll be a little robot instead of a little guy. So cool. Those little details that just immerse you. Yeah, like look at these footprints in the concrete. I wonder where these go. Oh, they appear to go to the Golden Horseshoe from the boat, which would make sense because coming in off the boat, you would go into the tavern. Totally checks out. But yeah, I made this cool little Mars habitat, and I'm pretty sure it's somewhere in my parents' garage still. And maybe sometime for a live stream, I'll recreate it just from memory because there was a lot of cool detail. It was like some of the first places I learned how to do a lot of different little model making techniques, like altering shapes that previously existed, or looking at like old broken toys and saying like, oh well, this piece is supposed to be this on this toy, but over here at a different scale it looks like this. And yeah, it's a pretty cool learning experience, a very formative thing, and it definitely was informed by my oh, no way. I never noticed these here before. Okay, so famously at this cart, in this particular section of the park, there's a very famous food item. And that is it on those racks there. They are the breakfast chimichangas. Legendary in Disneyland. I've only had them one time. Levi and I had them back last January when I was there. And that cart was actually closed because it was raining. But there was a little sign that said you could get them inside the Golden Horseshoe. So we went in the Golden Horseshoe and we had breakfast chimichangas. It was awesome. All right. Coming back beyond that little stand. Got this is one of the restaurants. What's the sign say? Steamer Mark Twain leaves from the foot of the Frontierland Pier for a cruise on the rivers of America. Hell yeah. Okay, so this is the, it'll be on there. Yeah, that's right. This used to be called Rancho del Zocalo. I don't think this restaurant's still here. It might be. But I know this whole area has undergone some transformations in the last little while on the edge of Frontierland here. So let's come over, you know, obviously the thing that everyone comes here for right there, Big Thunder Mountain. It was the, one of the first real thrill rides in Disneyland. You know, everything else was not very roller coastery until that came along. We got the horseshoes running between the tracks of the cart. That's pretty cool. Yeah, there it is, Big Thunder Mountain Railroad. Also a playable game apparently. I've not played any of these. I think I played the Pirates one or maybe the Jungle Cruise at some point. Oh yeah, I see it going around. Let's see if we can catch, yeah, there it goes. Okay, so what you just experienced there, standing on this walkway and hearing that go by, one of the last times we were there, this ride was closed for refurbishment and was not supposed to open while we were there. and we were sort of walking through here at night, and we heard it go by. And we kind of, my wife and I just kind of stopped and looked at each other, and I was like, and she says, "Did you hear that?" And I go, "Yeah." And she goes, "Was that Big Thunder Mountain?" I was like, yes. And we looked, and we could see that it was operating, and we just booked it for the line. We got in line, got on the ride, rode through. Hey, there's a hidden Mickey down in the cactus there. Rode it, and then within like 5-10 minutes, they had closed it again, and it didn't open up the whole rest of the time we were there. So we got to go on it, but we were the only people really. Love this art for the river excursions on the Mark Twain. Explore the rivers of the far west from the decks of the Mark Twain steam-powered sternwheeler. Hell yeah. Rivers of America are so peaceful. Little fish in there. Look at them hopping around. Alright. We're gonna wander our way over here and head through Frontierland. Well, Frontierland is really well themed, but there's like, you know, really some of the only things in here are basically like Big Thunder Mountain. Now where's the old where's the petrified tree? There it is. Petrified tree stump. Yeah, it even says it on that little sign there, petrified tree. You can see it's got some metal there that's sort of like holding it so nothing happens to it. I always make sure I check that out when I'm in the game because they didn't have to include that detail, but they did. Now the Golden Horseshoe, of course, was the first place where Steve Martin ever saw live entertainment. He would go see the old-time shows that would happen in there, seeing legendary vaudevillian comedian Wally Bogue, who later went on to voice many popular cartoon characters. But he was doing part of the show in there. Steve Martin has a lot of great stories about that in his book. Now here's something I also get a kick out of. They have the Disneyland mailbox. These mailboxes are real functioning mailboxes. You can put your mail in there, and at the end of the day, they take it all and it goes to the post office exactly the way any regular mailbox works. When my wife and I got married in the park, we sealed up our marriage certificate because you have to mail it in. We dropped it in the mail from Disneyland, so it was stamped from Disneyland when it showed up to the town clerk's office. Yep, there's some more lamps of Disney hanging up there above the dry goods. Let's see what they got in their windows. Yeah, a lot of home goods. Some of this looks pretty familiar to some of the scenery stuff they had on Main Street. The shooting exposition. I don't know if this still exists or if this got shut down, but it is just a shooting game where they give you a BB gun. You can see on this version they've got the thing where you put quarters into play. That's not how it is anymore. Last I was there, it's a, you know, hand money over to an actual like Disney cast member. Yeah, here's the change machine so that you'd have change to play. Uh-oh, Grizzly Kid raiding, coming in hot on a Tuesday night. Welcome, Grizz. Glad to see ya. Glad to see you and the crew rolling in here. We're exploring some Disneyland, just disassociating and zoning out from the world. All right, and that is that's Frontierland. They do have, I think you can still sort of see, they used to have like a whole play area back here that was like fortresses and stuff where you could go and climb around. I want to say they still have that in Disney World, maybe? Wow. Paymaster, cash and phones, if they say so. Oh, the ads just ended for the Grizz crew. Well, welcome, guys. Welcome. We're doing a little disassociating from the world and wandering our way through Disneyland. Is that flags of the Revolutionary War? If they say so. I don't see them. Oh no, there they are. Yeah, they do hang up there. Look at that. Huh. Huh. The log fort. Okay. Alright, we're going to head over the bridge here back into Main Street. There's the omnibus. I knew it was out here somewhere. We're doing good. You know, just chilling out, relaxing. Kind of half-heartedly hunting around for a churro stand. All right, I'm going into the center hub here, where we have all the little statues of the characters. We got that's the rabbit from Alice in Wonderland. We got Goofy. Let's see, that's Pluto. We got Dumbo. We got Pinocchio. Minnie. It's Donald. Hey, come on, fella, out of my way. Oh, this is oh, Chip and Dale. Okay, there they are. And then, of course, in the middle, the very famous Dreamers statue of Walt and Mickey. The partners statue. Forgive me. And yeah, I have pictures of myself with this statue, like from I don't know, over the course of probably 25 years. I have like a bunch of different I have pictures of myself with this on both coasts, probably at least every 5 years since I was like 12. All right, Bobby, take it easy, my friend. All right. We got the Carnation Plaza Gardens. It's right on the edge of Fantasyland here. One of the places in the park that I never really venture into when I'm there. All right, I'm gonna take this bridge back over. Now this is a side I almost never see too, with this little bridge and everything. All right. But every time I play the game, even though we gotta check out. Yeah, there it is. That's the shot you look for. That beautiful castle. Are the fountains already in the water at this point? Okay, the fountains are newer, so they wouldn't have been there yet. Alright, Grizz. Enjoy yourself, my friend. Thank you for popping in. Alright, but every time I do one of these, I always got to come over to this side here and visit Snow White's grotto, this little alcove by the wishing well. Hi, Snow White. How are you? Because this is the spot where my wife and I got married. Just quietly out of the way, not bothering anybody. Next to the statues from the movie. Now, an interesting thing about these statues, these were a gift given to Walt when he won a. It was a special award Oscar for Snow White. It was a special achievement Oscar because no one had ever made an animated feature film before. And these were a gift that were given to him that he decided to put up in the park when it opened, but the scale was off. The dwarves are basically the same size as Snow White. So they stacked them like this where the dwarves are all very close to you and Snow White's far away up at the top, so that when you're standing there in person, it actually looks like they're all appropriately scaled to each other. It's a very clever idea. Now, every few minutes when you're there in the park, this will play the little song from the movie, the I'm wishing, that thing, and the water lights up, and those little fish down there spin around in the air and spit water out of their mouths. It's a pretty cool little mini show that probably tons of people go in and out of these parks every day and never notice. All right, we're gonna take the main castle thoroughway into Fantasyland here. Something you actually can't do in Disney World. The castle in Disney World, this whole section you can't usually walk through because they have a stage for special events and those kinds of things. And there's also a restaurant in the castle there. And so you can't really just walk through like this. Now, interestingly, this drawbridge is a functioning drawbridge on the castle. And it's only been raised and lowered, I believe, twice. One of those times was opening day, and the other time was for some kind of special event where they had to do something to alter it. Wow. Wow. Now this, yeah, I don't usually walk. That music comes right in when you come in there. Enchanted Chamber.
More lamps of Disney. I love the wrought iron on the wood doors. That's beautiful. All right, coming out the back end here, we got the view of Fantasyland. Got what we got? What we got for souvenirs here? It's mostly popcorn and lollipops. Yeah. Oh, and oh, disposable cameras. Look at that. Right right up above me here. We got some disposable cameras in there. Ha. Oh boy, doesn't that? Oh wow. Right behind my head, we got a Cinderella on DVD. That would have been a fresh release at the time. That's crazy. Wow. Autograph books. Yeah, there's more DVDs. That's so funny. These are a lot of little details I've never looked for before. Got a... Which statue is this? I can't see them. Is that a Sleeping Beauty and her prince, I think? Yeah, there's Sleeping Beauty. Aurora herself. The Bibbidi Bobbidi Boutique. You can go get all gussied up for your stay in Fantasyland. All right, Captain Hook hanging out. As we come in here, yeah, that's the other half of the Bibbidi Bobbidi Boutique. We got Walt's Carousel, the King Arthur Carousel with the Sword in the Stone, which I have again for years and years and years. There's pictures of me trying to get that damn sword out of that stone, and I have never been successful. But I try every time. I always got to try. The merry-go-round music gets me every time too. Love that. All right, we got Pinocchio. I think I passed Snow White also. Snow White's Scary Adventure. They had to change the name because little kids were scared of the ride and parents got upset. Now I wonder, up in that window, up top there, when you're there in the park and you're waiting for this ride, occasionally that window will open and the queen, the Wicked Queen, is looking out at you. I don't know if they bothered with that in this ride or in this game. I'm willing to stand here and wait and find out, though. I think it's gonna happen, but this is another thing I really like. When you go in, they've got the little book of it, and they've got the poison apple there that suffers from that thing that happens to a lot of these things when you see them in these sorts of places. It's got one spot on it that's incredibly shiny, and it's from people touching it as they've gone by in line over all the years. Hidden Mickey on the concrete there. The queue for that is always real short, and I love that. And I believe we went by Peter Pan's Flight over there, which is not a short line ever. It's always an incredibly long ride. It's a ride that loads very slowly. It doesn't have a ton of capacity. What is up in those windows? Oh, flower beds. Okay. It doesn't have a lot of capacity, so it's very slow to get people in and out. It's also very popular because it is a really cool ride. But there's no fast pass or anything, so you're always just on your own. There's a cool detail. The iron hinges on these doors, if you look at them, they kind of look like frog shaped, and that's because this is Mr. Toad's Wild Ride. They always have the one of the ride vehicles outside. You can sit in and take your picture. Well, someone can, not me. Got our little entrance here with Mr. Toad on it. Toad Hall, one of the beautiful buildings of the park. That great the wind. Oh God, what are those called? But yeah, up there we got that. We got the statue of Mr. Toad in the. Actually, we got a bust of him in the other window. But yeah, a few statues of Mr. Toad. Love that. Another hidden Mickey in the concrete. Now the queue goes over there next to Mad Hatter. All right, we got Dumbo elephants. Love the flying elephants. Churro stand, gotta have it. No, can't get up there this way. There it is. Is this the Casey Jr. train, I believe? Where you go to ride that. There should be a sign for it or something, right? Right, there it is. Yeah, Casey Jr. Circus Train. Yep. Alright, as we pass the Dumbo ride, which also has a ride vehicle that you can snap a picture in. You see, they put a water fountain here. They couldn't put one in the queue for Pirates? Guys, come on. Like, I know that's not worth getting upset about, but I'm a little upset. I'm a little upset. We got one of the ride vehicles for the Mad Teacups. And of course, right next to it, we do have the teacups. You can see folks in there riding it now. I've only ridden these one time ever. It was very recently, one of our most recent trips to the park. In all the years, I just had never gone on it. And we went at nighttime, and all those little lamps and everything light up different colors. It's really cool looking at night. Not something I would necessarily think of for a nighttime ride. And then, of course, there's the actual Alice in Wonderland ride. You see the ride vehicles here. Now here, all these flowers are actually lamps, and they light up in multiple colors. One of my favorite little tidbits is this ride goes on multiple stories. It goes up on the sort of the roof there, and there's one room that you go through where it's very hot, and that's because directly below it, over here, you go directly above the Mr. Toad's Wild Ride, the room where you actually go to hell in that ride. For those who've never been on Mr. Toad's, you get in a drunk driving accident, die, and go to hell. Which is, yeah, a little dark for a Disney park ride, but, you know. Here we got one of the lighthouses for Storybook Land boats. We see the boats there. Of course, when you get on them, and the beautiful gardens and everything. When you get on them, the first thing you do is go right through the mouth of the whale. Always enjoyed that. Oh, hey, there goes the monorail. Look at that. That's beautiful. Right under the Matterhorn. Two of the best pieces of Bob Gurr's work, famous Imagineer, currently in his 90s, with a thriving Instagram page. He is a great follow. Ooh, we got one of the different popcorn things. Let's see. What's the little guy wearing here? Is he... I think he might just be the same as the other one. Did they not bother changing them? Yeah, he's just got a little boat around. Hey, you can actually see him right above me there. That's cool. Nice little close-up. Alright. And as we continue to the back end of Fantasyland here, we can probably look in at this a little bit. Yeah, you can just make a little of it out in the background there with those little bridges and everything, but you can't really see too much of it. Alright. That's okay. Le Petit Chalet. It looks like this was a place where you could get your pictures and your Mickey hats. Alright, probably not what it is anymore. They don't have a lot of places for pictures now. Alright, we're going to continue on to the back here. We wander back to, of course, the famous one of the most beautiful ride facades, the work of the amazing Mary Blair, a formerly retired Imagineer, who came out of retirement to design this ride for Walt, the It's a Small World ride, where she, if you ever read any of the old children's books that were illustrated by Mary Blair, the art style is so unique and so specific to Mary Blair. She has a beautiful a beautiful piece of art that's just this huge mural in the Contemporary Hotel in Florida. Here we got some of these crazy topiaries they keep around that are just so, they absolutely fit the style. Now, interestingly, you wouldn't necessarily know it, but the height of this facade and these big plant walls here are all meant to hide the Walt Disney Railway. The train actually passes right behind here. Oh, look at those topiaries. All right. I'm going to try to zip quickly through a few more places here, and then we're going to call it a stream because I still have a workout to get in tonight. We got the Princess Fantasy Fair Theater. Ariel hanging out here. We're going to come on down to Toontown, which closes early every night for the fireworks. Mickey's Toontown. First, now over here, for some reason, I've still not figured out why there's no sign here. This is Roger Rabbit's Cartoon Spin, and it's a great ride with, again, one of the coolest queues. Waiting there, you get so much story, and it's so immersive. It's so carefully thought out. Like, the lighting in it is incredible. Yeah, just a real feat of art direction in a physical space. All right, and you kind of get that a little bit everywhere here, where there's the fire truck outside the fire station. There's like the fireworks factory that's attached to the fire station. The gym with the old-timey punching bag. This is the dog pound, where there's a jail with like rubber bars that you can kind of push your way out of. I do like that the fire hydrant is right in front of the dog pound. That's pretty funny. And then yeah, we got these little cars everywhere here you can take your pictures in. I don't know if those are, I believe they're not still there. This whole place went a major overhaul just in the last like 3-4 years. And opened not long ago. Like reopened and is completely different, and it's amazing. It looks so good. There you got the Hollywood sign that says Toontown. We got Minnie's house over there. We got Mickey's house over there. As we head back here past Mickey's Symphony Fountain, which also isn't there. It's been replaced with a much bigger fountain at the beginning of this section of the park. We got, I believe it's Chip and Dale's house back here. Gadget's Go Coaster, and there's Chip and Dale with their tree house. Gadget from Chip and Dale's Rescue Ranger. We got Donald's boat that he lives on. Sort of the Job Bluth of the Disney World, I guess. Lives on a boat. We got Goofy's house, which is always broke. Like there's a bird nesting in his chimney. The house is wearing a hat for some reason. Yeah, it looks like his house always looks so cobbled together that his car's got patches in the tires and it's crashed into the mailbox. Goofy, you're a mess. Oh, look at these what are these things? These little like what are these lawn decorations that Goofy has? What a weird guy. RV camper out here. Oh wow, I love that thing. I've never noticed that before. I like that a lot. I have a whole book of vintage camper trailers. So there's something about the design of those that really itches a particularly ticklish corner of my brain. All right. We've broken back out now, heading into Fantasyland, and we are... Oh, there goes the monorail again. We're going to sprint right past It's a Small World and all these shops. And you can see up in the air there, we are headed toward the the Matterhorn. One of the most famous, iconic rides, and it only exists in Disneyland. It's not in Disney World. It's not in any of the other parks. Truly a beautiful design, a ride that will beat the crap out of you, though. It is an unforgiving bobsled ride that is just violent on the body. More cool lamps of Disney in the background there. Classic music that plays there. Now, I wonder if I can find the Yeti footprint that they have on display. I think I've tried to find it before. But we're gonna follow it all the way around and see if we can find it. 'Cause it's somewhere displayed in this thing. I don't know if it made it into the game though. Right on the edge of Tomorrowland. I always thought it was a little weird that the Matterhorn is sort of half in Tomorrowland, half in Fantasyland. Oh, this might be it. This might be it. There it is. There's the Bigfoot footprint. Ah, so cool that it's actually in the game. I don't know if I've ever found that here before. I know I've looked for it. There's a guy who makes tiki mugs and shows the whole process on YouTube that I really enjoy, named Van Tiki. He did a mug of that footprint not long ago, and it was done as a commemorative piece for the anniversary of the Matterhorn. Of course, over here we have the currently known as the Finding Nemo submarine ride. It was the 20,000 Leagues submarine ride and has had a number of different names over the years. But that can only mean one thing, and again, the ground changing under your feet as we come into Tomorrowland. One of my favorite areas of the park, the retrofuturism, the sort of gooky architecture, the neon signs. Look at even the underside of this with the little twinkly stars and with this, there's such an aesthetic there that I have trouble describing it to people without just showing them this, you know? Even there it is, the Tomorrowland Terrace where they have bands come and play. Suburban Legends played there a bunch of times. Yeah, at this point it was the Finding Nemo submarine voyage. That music you can hear, that Tomorrowland loop, that's another one that I will listen to for hours. Look at the design of that building. All these buildings are just gorgeous. Now this is part of the queue for Autopia, where, yeah, there you can see the little cars driving around. More design work by the great Bob Gurr, famously designing the cars for Autopia. More water fountains. They could have put one in the Pirates queue, I'm just saying. There's the sign for Autopia. There it is. Beautiful. Alright. As we head back here, and you'll hear that Tomorrowland music get a little louder. We do see the old Carousel of Progress building, which at this time was Innoventions. It's now like a Disney Visa holder lounge or something. You know, they do like Star Wars meet and greets in it. Kind of a shame. Carousel of Progress was so iconic. I really wish it was still there, but you can see it in Florida, and it's great there. So, you know, gotta have something in Florida, I guess. We come back here, we've got that sort of very famous rocket in Tomorrowland that started as a display for something completely different, but is now part of, well, at this time would have been Red Rocket's Pizza Port. Now, of course, known as Pizza Planet from the Toy Story series.
Got some payphones back here. Not very futuristic, but okay. That's the old building for the people mover, where you would go up on that and hop on the people mover. There's the beautiful, I love this Mickey neon sign. I actually just listened to a whole podcast with the guy who designed this. I've seen people with tattoos of this this blinking sign. People make small replicas of it. It's so iconic, and I don't know, it's so evocative of a particular era and a particular style. Yeah, just a piece that I don't think is meant to be like outstanding art to anyone, but to me it really is. Space Mountain, of course. Very, you know, one of the legendary rides of the park. You know, not much more I can say about that. There's the waiting area for the Captain EO show. I can kind of hear some of the Space Mountain music playing. That's pretty sick. Alright, we're going to wander back out here. They got the big marble ball on water thing with the garden around it. Here's the bigger signs for Captain EO. Love that. Man, Single Rider, who is a great designer of Disney sort of, not knockoff merch, but, you know, merch that they don't really have the licensing for. They just do short drops so that they don't get cease and desisted. They have a couple great Captain EO shirts they've made over time, and I'm just never ready to buy one when they have them, which is pretty regrettable. Here we can see some of the Captain EO stuff that they would have had at the time that, again, I wish I'd bought. I wish I had that Captain EO shirt. I wish I had that Captain EO shirt. Like, stuff is just awesome. Right, I think we can wander on out here past the Tomorrowland churro stand. Underneath what used to be the People Mover track, and then later was the Rocket Rods track, and now is nothing because they've done nothing with it. That's right, Disney, calling you out on that. These beautiful space murals that are on each side, that for years I never really looked up and noticed, and then one day I did, and now it's all I can think about when I pass through here. Just beautiful. All right, we're gonna continue on here. Past Buzz Lightyear Astro Blasters, a great ride, great time getting in there with the little laser guns fighting the evil Emperor Zurg. Of course, unlabeled here because again they didn't have the Lucasfilm rights for some reason, is Star Tours. Not in Galaxy's Edge, which didn't exist at this time, but it's still not in Galaxy's Edge today. It still resides in Tomorrowland. Was originally the location of was it Mission to Mars or Journey Through Inner Space? One of those, and it was you know, there's great shots of the original queue, and when you look at it, you can sort of see the later Star Wars queue that ended up there. Like, you can still sort of feel it. Alright, as we continue on out here, we'll turn around real quick and get a look at... I always kind of love these giant, weird pillars, like the way that it interacts with the skyline there of the building on Star Tours and some of the other things that stick up. Like that weird retro-futurism style is something I really dig. Even like these railings, like the art on those rails. It's just, you know, they put so much work into every little detail. It's really one of the reasons that I feel I can keep going back to the parks forever, because I feel like I'm always seeing something new. Yeah, even like this, which is just the sign for the Astro Orbiter. Like, I mean, the Astro Orbiter itself. Look at all that. So cool. I mean, I don't know. I wish I had something more poignant to say about it, but I don't know. Something about it just really lands for me. Alright, as we come back out to the hub here, I'll turn around and give us a better view into Tomorrowland. Now this was at a time when this was the sign for Tomorrowland. This little bitty kind of funky color sign that's not very big. That was the sign for Tomorrowland. Now it's got a great big sign that said that, you know, honestly I think is a lot better. You know, a lot of Disneyland purists, they just don't like any change and they'll complain about any change that they can. Not me. I think a lot of the changes they make are really cool. Now there's a bunch I don't agree with, and there's a bunch that I think take away from some of the hard work they've put in over the years. But then there's some that are just kind of sick. Like pretty great stuff. All right, we're going to plow our way through all these people back down Main Street here. Past all the shops we checked out on the way in. Now we can kind of see the flag up there. Certainly couldn't where we were before. Alright, and as we come down here, every time when I'm leaving the park, we always go out on this side. And it's so that we can look up, and I love that they did it in the game, above the fire department is where Walt's apartment was that he would stay at in the park. And up there, that lamp that's on, that is on Walt's old desk. And that is a light that they always keep on in memory of Walt. I think it's so cool that they continue to do that to this day. And always look at it on my way out the park. And as we come over here, we get the town hall. We'll head back out past the last second gift shop, past some more attraction posters, and back out to our main gate where usually they funnel you way the heck over here to get out, like the other ones are usually closed. And that's it. We've concluded our grand circle tour of Disneyland. We're back looking at California Adventure again. And back here right in front of see if we can get that sign in the shot. It's kind of behind. Yeah, you can kind of see it there. All right, we'll get those buildings in the shot for the go home here. There we go. All right, and with that, we're going to call that our tour of Disneyland for today. I really just needed a relaxing stream where I could wander around and look at some stuff that makes me smile, think back on some fun memories of visiting the parks. You know, just been a long few days. Going to be a long few more years, I imagine. But hopefully I'll be back in these parks again soon. Certainly virtually I'll be doing this again soon at some point. Probably in the future port game, checking out some more Epcot. But for now, that has been Tuesday Night Perry. It's possible I may have another stream later this week, maybe at a weird time. I got a bunch of painting to do on some models and some toys down in the basement. So we may have a workshop stream, but we'll have to wait and see. For now, thanks for hanging out, and I will see you all again soon.